for 10 matches. But you see, there's one of the players we were talking about, Atlantis' Mitr0 up on the high ground. And Mitr0 picking up an elim there. He's known for playing this high ground scenario, already sitting on 4 elims. And he has that legendary infantry rifle along with the legendary pumps and putting tons of pressure down on their opponent.
That was huge right there. Only 5 assault rifle shots left up until that final limb. Now Mitr0 moving towards the zone. What you'll see from this player, always on the high ground. It's like it's the #1 thing that the top players go for at all times. No surprise to see Mitr0 up here right now. Players going to be landing on him. Quick shot does miss right there, trying to keep this high ground build up, but he can't get too high up. Thankfully, he has the cliff right there to fall down on if needed. 8 players remaining to beam with that legendary infantry rifle, continuing to keep his high ground. Great placement traps down. 65 total builds left at 16 points so far in this first game.
Yeah, the poison trap did fire. You heard it go off there. That's 80 straight damage going through, bypass the shield, so picking up an elim there. Now going to go to work from the high ground with that RPG. It's going to be incredibly hard to contest him now that we're into that 9th circle. The zone is so narrow that because he already has high ground, he can just keep raining down shots. Ons goes down. That's 7 elims already, and he's into the top 3.
Top 3 with the high ground right now. Mitr0 continuing to rain down terror with this legendary rocket launcher. Another one comes on through. Midnight desperately trying to stay alive. That's a quick shotgun tag there as well for Mitr0. 1 player still left in a baller, I believe, did just either rift or launch pad up above.
Yeah, did get rifted up to have that amount of height and go back down, but Midnight's going down. So it was Krakito who was in that baller, and Mitr0 can actually reload and get him with the RPG because of how low it is. Krakito tries to grapple back up, but loses the high ground. Mitr0's just going to try and position him out here. You have Mitr0 in the top right, Krakito in the bottom right, wide on the left-hand side here.
My goodness, what a performance so far for Mitr0 in this one. Drops the campfire down. Krakito trying to dodge these rocket shots from coming on in. Health advantage still to Mitr0. Krakito has all the materials in the world because, you know, they spend most of the game in that baller, but whips the build for a second, drops all the way down, and now it looks like it's Mitr0's game to win. There it is. Yes, the health was ticking down, but in the end, it's not enough for Krakito. And one of the 3 players you mentioned, Sundown, Mitr0, victory royale and 9 eliminations, a monster performance.
Yeah, and you see he's already on 25 points there after that match. And I mean, Mitr0 deserves all the credit. From the original Blitz showdown, when we were talking about most of the players in those top scoreboards were a difference of
13 points a game, you're going to qualify. There's really no other way to put it. Benjyfishy, a name we've seen a lot of so far from the European region, absolutely one of the top players in the world here in competitive Fortnite, is qualified for the duos and solos competition.
Yep, last week putting up a first-place performance with his duo, Mr. Savage, in the duos competition. The week before that, getting 3rd place overall. So one of 2 players to already qualify for solos and duos. So really, just playing for a little bit of prize and a little bit of practice.
Hey, that's the best thing, right? Practice. Get back into these games. You're competing against some of the best in the world, especially if you make it to Sunday. Benjyfishy, look at the inventory. In a brilliant position right now. Sitting pretty. Materials for days, ammo for days, on the high ground, metal fully built 1 by 1, and it's actually one of the most stark differences in builds in competitive Fortnite. The difference between a not finished metal structure and a fully fortified metal structure. Where he's sitting right now, 1 rocket won't take him down. A full spray from an AR will take a very long time to really make a difference. He's sitting so comfortably at the moment. Now we'll begin to place the pad. There we go. But there, you saw how comfy he was. He was raining down fire for the last 2 minutes in this game as he picked up a few eliminations.
Yeah, didn't have to worry at all. And you talk about that basically when you're in that fully metal and fortified structure. The only thing that super threatens you is somebody trying to heavy snipe your way through. But if you're on ultimate high and you're aware of your surroundings, you should be in a good spot. As you see him now going to opt for a slurp in order to pick up those boogies and then just rotate himself away. As the rest of the players now moving from that high ground into the low ground. Kind of an interesting rotation coming through, but Benji making sure he's ahead of it, now trying to catch players as they follow up.
One of the best traits you see of these top players is that half the time this is going on for me, Sundown, when I'm playing, I'm like panicked about who's near me, you know, what's going on. I get in the zone and then I barely be able to put any damage down range. These guys get in the zone and you saw the second he was knowing that he was safe, he was immediately laying down shots and is getting back into every bit of fighting he can get into.
Yeah, and there was that rift right next to him, but he opts not to take it as he's looking for more of those fights because he knows if he's going to capitalize on eliminations, that's not going to happen in the sky. As now we're into the top 10, getting the boogie bombs out does connect, but not onto that Ballard player. Looking to follow it up, 22 white, finds the second one, TMK 35 going down there, but Benji in a little bit of a tight spot.
Yeah, you know he wanted to try to grab that slurp juice. Unfortunately, doesn't wind up picking it up. Still having to run away from the zone. 126 total builds. Materials will not be an issue for Benjyfishy when pushing up that mountain. Not many players left in this game. Campfire now dropped. 56 total shield. Benji immediately building on out. Doesn't have control over that wood wall. Yes, smart play to get out of there as soon as possible. In the top left of your screen, you see the exact amount of players remaining. Top 7 right now. Remember, getting to the top 5 will earn you some extra points as well. 14 total points up to this point in the semifinals for Benjyfishy. Just going to spray and try to do some damage to that baller.
Yeah, just try and knock that out there. Make sure it's out of play as you see now how the rest of the lobby is laid out as we move into the top 5. So all about the elims and the victory royales. Insane on the high ground. Benji working through the low ground.
And Benji using that natural, expedition site that's already there as cover. Gives him peace of mind as he tries to push on forward. Does get a quick fight with Pure. That's an elimination right there for the 50 extra HP. One player with a bush nearby.
Yeah, and the bush is actually really solid in this circumstance.
Oh,
when
yeah.
People are peeking, as long as you don't, quote-unquote, waste it on an SMG shot. If you're able to kind of soak up a single pump shot with that, as insane goes down. Zealot knocking him down from the high ground, and he's not able to catch himself in time. Super unfortunate there. As now Zealot in your top right has the high ground. Benji in the bottom right on the low ground. RB just above him, but with little effective HP.
And now with the zone moving down the mountain, whoever's in the high ground will have to begin to waterfall. You see Zealot knows that. Immediately drops down into Arby's builds. Arby with not a ton of health.
Yeah, and Zealot has no builds either, so he's reliant on whatever RB has. Benji throwing up the boogie bomb, but like we said, that respects LOS. But RB dropping down onto Benji does still have that bush, but gets shredded off, trying to push through. Benji does convert, 25 HP, puts the trap down. Will it fire? No, does not go off. The player sidesteps it. Can Benji get back in the zone? Yes, he does. 5 HP. Zealot now in the top right. He's looking for Benji. He knows he's low. Doesn't find the shot.
No builds. He can't match this build-up. Does Benjyfishy? But it did. He's blocked out of the zone. Benjyfishy, 5 HP, gets the job done. And look at the amount of